Hello Taiko people, my name is Shoji Kameda, and this is kaDON's Beta Basics video series. Now that we know how to stand at the drum and the bachi are feeling more comfortable in our hands, we're going to work on actually striking the drum. I break the strike down into 5 distinct steps that I call the 5-point stroke. It's just a way of slowing things down so we really can get an understanding of what's supposed to be happening at every moment of the strike. Let's get started. The first part of the motion is what I call the up motion. It's just the motion of raising your arm up, okay? Now, seems pretty straightforward. You just raise your arm up, but there's actually kind of a lot to it. So let's get into our stance, review our stance. Get into our ready position or our kamaite. I'm gonna go ahead and put my left hand down, just focus on the right for right now. So the up motion, we're going to draw up the bachi nice and relaxed. We're going to keep our shoulders down, okay? That's one very common thing that'll happen is a lot of people, when you raise your arm up, the shoulder's going to come up, okay? So we want to keep the shoulder down as we raise our arm up. The other thing that we want to do is we want to bend our elbow in just a little bit, okay? So we don't want to raise our arm up where the elbow is pointing out like this. We want to raise our arm up where the elbow is kind of pointed down, okay? So it might seem a little awkward in the beginning, but it sets us up for the rest of the strike. So watch as I raise my arm up. I want to keep my elbow so if I bend it, it's going to be pointed down or at least toward the drum, as opposed to raising my arm up in this way, where if I bend it, it's going to send the elbow out. Okay? So we want to think of elbow position as we raise up. So far we have 2 things to think about. We have our shoulder and we have our elbow position. Okay? The next thing I want to talk about in the up motion is the quality of the motion. The motion shouldn't be consistent all the way up. So it's not like this, not like, it's kind of like if you're going to throw a ball up in the air. As you throw the ball, it accelerates in your hand, and the second you release it, it's decelerating until it reaches the apex, right? And then it'll start accelerating as gravity takes it down again. So the idea is you want to raise your arm up and just stop it at that apex, okay? So the impetus of the motion is in the beginning, you're kind of throwing your arm up, and then you just catch it at the top of its motion. So a more exaggerated motion would be like this. Okay, but obviously you don't want to do this whole thing with your body every time you just raise your arm. But that's what we want to think about. That's the image that we want to have. We want to think of kind of like throwing a ball up into the air and just stopping it right at the apex of its motion. Okay? So we have 3 things to think about. We have keeping your shoulder down, so not like this, right? Keeping your shoulder nice and down. We want to think about our elbow position. So we want our elbow positioned in a way where if we bend it, it's going to go down or toward the drum, not out. And in terms of the quality of a motion, we want to think of something that has an impetus in the beginning and just decelerates to the stopping point. We don't want to add any like emphasis at the top because that's just unnecessary, right? We're just adding more sort of stress and strength into the motion that doesn't need to be there. Okay, so you just want to do it just enough where it'll naturally stop right at the apex of its motion. So those are the components of the up motion. The next motion is what I call the down motion. So after the up motion, then down is very simple. It's just going to be a bend of the elbow, and because our elbow position is right, it's just going to bend so it comes down toward the drum. Okay? The hand should, be somewhere around the face. When I have the bachi in my hand, it'll look like this, up, and then down, okay? So a couple things to think about with the down motion. The most important, again, is the elbow position. You want to think of your elbow kind of going toward the center of the drum. It doesn't need to be pointed to the center of the drum. It doesn't need to be extreme like this. But you just want to have it at least be sort of down, in a down direction toward the drum, as opposed to out. Okay, so we have up, we have down. The other thing to think about in the down motion, if I go to the side here, is when we go up and we go down, the weight of the bachi is if my fulcrum is here on my middle finger, the weight of the bachi is on the front side of the fulcrum. Okay, so it's like this, as opposed to this. Okay, so it's still here in the down motion. So let's try it. We have up and then down. Okay, so down, elbow going down, hand kind of to the side of the face, and the weight of the bachi on the front side of the fulcrum. The other thing to think about is when we go down, to pay attention to the way the wrist moves. You want to make sure that we're not going to do this kind of thing where we're turning the wrist either this way or even this way. A lot of times when we do that down motion, there'll be a natural tendency to kind of turn the wrist. Okay, so you don't want to turn your wrist when you do the down motion. You just want it up and then nice down. Okay, so keep the wrist in line with the arm. This should all be in line. The tip of the bachi, this V of your hand to the line of your arm. This should all stay in the same line. Okay, so let's try a couple more times. We have up and then down. Again, up and then down. Our next motion is what I call the forward motion. Remember in our last video, in the very first exercise I had you do with your hand, you were just going back and forth like this. This is going to be the sort of action of the forward motion. Okay, so up, down. We're going to do forward. As we move the bachi forward, we're going to allow our hand to open, and the weight of the bachi is going to go from the front side of the fulcrum to the back side. Okay, so the end of the forward motion should be here. So let's try this all together. Up and then down, and now we have forward. Okay, if you were able to do that exercise in our last video, this exercise where the sort of hand just naturally opens as you move the bachi forward, that's exactly the motion that we're going for in forward. Okay, so let's put it together. So far we have up and then down and now forward. Again, we have up, then down and forward. Okay, the next motion you also already know. We're going to catch up. Okay, so from here, we're going to let the bachi go down and catch it up. Okay, again, that's from the last video. We had those catch up, catch down, and bounce up exercises. We're going to use that middle one, like sort of, where it's not going to be bounce up where you let it your hand open. It's going to be catch up, where you close your hand, but you let the tip of the bachi bounce up to its natural resting place. Okay, so let's put what we have together so far. We have up and then down and forward and catch up. Again, up and down and forward and whoops, catch up. The last motion is very easy. It's just our reset. Okay, and when we reset, we want to think relax. So I call this motion relax. Okay, and relax is just, we're going to extend the tip of the bachi, sort of extend it toward the far side of the drum and just allow that motion to have everything come back into line and get us to our original position. So now we have all 5 points of the stroke. Let's do it all together. Here we go. Up and down, forward, bounce up and relax, and up and down and forward, catch up, relax. Now that we are familiar with all 5 of the steps, we're going to put it to a metronome. Again, I'm going to do the metronome at like 60 BPM, so I'm going to take 2 beats for every motion, do nice and slow and nice and under control. Here we go, 60 BPM. And up and down and forward and catch up and relax, and up and down and forward and catch up and relax, and up and down and forward and catch up and relax, and up and down and forward and catch up and relax. Let's do the same thing with our left hand. Put your right hand nice, just relaxed to the side. Here we go. Ready, go, and up and down and forward and catch up and relax, and up and down and forward and catch up and relax. One more time. Up and down and forward and catch up and relax. So take your time with this. You could do this, the way I like to practice this is I put the metronome on and I put a timer on. Maybe I'll do each arm for a couple minutes at a time, or as long as you go until you get very, very bored and absolutely can't do it anymore. That's about as long as you should do it. So that's the 5-point stroke. In the next section, we'll sort of break it down, and I'll show you how to turn the 5-point stroke into just a really natural motion. Okay, so take your time with all 5 of those points. I broke it down into 5 points to really sort of try to understand what's supposed to be happening at each moment of the stroke, but it's really unnatural to stop at these points, right? So in order to sort of bring it back into a more natural motion, what we do is we start taking away points, okay? So our original is 5 points. It's going to go up, down, forward, catch up, and then relax. What happens is we skip one of the steps. The first step we're going to skip is forward. So it's going to go up, down, catch up, and relax. So that's 4 points, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I've skipped the forward motion, okay? So now we're going to try the 4-point stroke at 60 BPM. Here we go. 2, and ready, go, and up, and down, and catch up, and relax, and up, and down, and catch up, and relax, and up, and down, and catch up, and relax, and up, and down, and catch up, and relax. The next motion we're going to skip the down motion. So the 3-point stroke just goes up, and then we go catch up, then relax, and up, and catch up, and relax. So let's try the same thing, 60 BPM. Ready, go, and up, and catch up, and relax, and up, and catch up, and relax, and up, and catch up, and relax, and up, and catch up, and relax. Now the final step is we're going to incorporate relax into our up motion, okay? So we end with catch up, and we're going to do relax and up together, okay? And what that means is as we go up, we just push the bachi over the tip, push the bachi over the far end of the drum to elongate the arm, and it's going to come up like that. So our 2-point stroke is just up and catch up, and up and catch up, and up and catch up, and up and catch up. Let's do the same thing, 60 BPM. And ready and go, and up and up and catch up and up and catch up Okay, now that we've gone through the 5, the 4, the 3, and the 2-point stroke, we're going to do the same thing with the left hand. I'm going to put it all together. I'll put the metronome back on at 60, and we'll do each one. We'll do the 5-point stroke twice, the 4-point stroke twice, 3-point stroke twice, and the 2-point stroke twice. When you practice this, you probably want to do it more than twice, but in the interest of time in this video, I'll just do it twice. Here we go, 60 BPM. Ready and go, and up, and down, and forward, and up, and relax, and up, and down, and forward, and up, and relax, and up, and down, and up, and relax, and up, and down, and up, and relax, and up, and relax, and up, and relax, and up, and up, and so go ahead and take your time with this. Make sure you really understand what's supposed to be happening at each of the 5 points. Then once you get that, go ahead and start taking points away. Do the 4-point stroke, 3-point stroke, and the 2-point stroke. Once you've got that and it feels nice and comfortable, then we'll move on to the next lesson where we'll do some basic kata and oroshi. See you at the next video.